Today's news on the mountain is the movements on the mountains have been enormous. I never seen so many Sherpas going up and down as last night. From 8 o'clock until 4 a.m., there's one big stream of Sherpas leaving base camp, carrying supplies to Camp 1 and Camp 2. And things are going very well. Camp 1 is established for most teams, Camp 2 is established for most teams, and the Sherpas seem happy with the route in the Icefall. What is great. There's a minor bottleneck, but according to them, when you move through it quickly, there are no big problems. Also, I hear the news that the rope fixing team is in Camp 2 and they're waiting for the ropes to be dropped so they can start fixing above Camp 2. So that also is going to happen fast. So things are going very well. After a big delay, we seem to catch up quickly. And soon, for sure, in a couple of days, many members are also going to move up to the mountain. So I don't have much news about the mountain. So we decided to talk a little bit about gear. So this time we want to talk about climbing boots. So this is how an Everest climbing boot uh, looks, and a lot of people are a little bit confused about what kind of boot you should buy. So in my opinion, the best boot to buy is the lightest boot. So you need to make a compromise between weight, insulation, and technical capabilities. Uh, my climbing mentor once told me 250 grams on your feet is the same as 1 kilogram in your backpack. So I think weight and comfort are the main things you have to look at. So this is like a standard 3-layer boot. We call this. So the outer boot is basically the first layer, and that's is the weather resistant layer with a little bit of insulation. And if you look inside the boot, you can see that actually the shell layer is inside. So the shell layer is what gives the support to the boot. And inside the boot, there's a third layer we call the inner boot. And the inner boot is basically a very warm, like house boot. The more comfortable this inner boot is, the more comfortable the climbing boot will feel. Uh, so what a lot of people do wrong, in my opinion, is that they buy a much too technical boot and they tie it up much too tight. So what you want is this top part from the boot. You don't want to tie it too much. If you have a lot of movement in your ankle, that feels nice. For the support, you tie up the lacing system of the boot, and that gives the support eventually. Uh, so a lot of people ask me what size boot should I buy. That's always a hard question, but I think at least one size up. At sea level, the boot should feel like really comfortable without any pressure point around your feet. Because once you go up, your feet will swell, and also walking on your feet whole day makes your feet swell anyhow. So a boot should be big and comfortable. Another mistake a lot of people make is they never take their boot off. So what is important is that you after you climb, you take this off, and you don't wear this in your sleeping bag. You just throw it off, put it in your sleeping bag to dry, but you don't wear it. Uh, the big advantage of this 3-layer boot system is that you can dry that inner boot when you're not climbing. So take it off. Uh, and last and not least important are socks. So people spend $1,000 on boots, and then they wear this like very old kind of socks. We don't want that. Uh, what you should look for in a sock so it's not that the thickest sock is the warmest sock, but you have to look at a sock with a lot of like small fibers in the fabric. The more small fibers, the warmer the sock is. Personally, I like these darn tough socks very much because they're super durable and they're very close fitting. So that means they also don't slide on my feet. and the front, the toe area, the heel area is a little bit thicker. So on the cold areas, the sock is thick, and on the where there's less pressure, the sock is a little bit thinner. And this is a very good, looks like a medium thickness sock, but it's warmer than most thick socks. If you're in a doubt, if your sock system, one sock is enough, you can always choose like to have a thin layer sock also. So first you wear a thin layer sock, and on top of this you can wear like a medium sock. But it's important you try this out, because sometimes the socks they will slide on each other, and it's actually not that comfortable. And what I look for in a sock is a good mix between the merino wool because it's warm and it keeps my tent partners happy because it doesn't smell. And then there needs to be some elastion, so some elastic fabric to keep the sock together. 100% merino wool sock will be losing his fit within like a few days. So I really love the darn tough socks, especially because they're very durable. They're really warm, and uh, thinner socks also give a little bit more feel in what you're doing. So a good sock with a good light boot, with a good insulation. Uh, Buy the boot at least one size too big. That's the way to go on Everest. DM me if there's more questions about boots. See you guys tomorrow for the next dispatch again.